This podcast contains explicit content and is intended for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised. Don't say we didn't warn you.
Hi, my name is Madison.
And I'm Hannah.
And you are listening to Who's Knocking?
A true crime podcast.
Yes, and if you're watching us on YouTube, you can probably see we have a visitor. I am trying not to move because this is the only way that he's going to be quiet, and I have nowhere to put him, so he's going to be there.
And if you're not watching, it's Madison's new baby.
Yeah, you can probably hear it's like little hiccups and
little baby noises.
Yeah, hopefully it'll quiet. We'll see. We're just out here doing our best. So there you go. So I had my baby, so I can breathe now, and I won't be huffing and puffing so much, which is better. But yeah, so today we're doing the story of Luka Magnotta.
Yeah, this is an interesting one.
A really fucked up story.
Yeah.
We'll get into it. But what do we have in true crime news, Hannah?
Well, the one thing that I was telling you earlier this week, Ghislaine Maxwell was sentenced 20 years in prison, which some people say is a really light sentence. Apparently she got off pretty easy.
Well, she's pretty old, so
yeah.
Like, how old is she?
I think she's in her 60s or around that age.
If she has to serve that entire sentence, like that's pretty bad, and you're like till you're like 80. That's
true. That is.
Yeah, so she got 20 years.
Yep.
And now she's basically the only one serving time alive for these crimes, which is insane.
And apparently, obviously, like there was a lot of clients involved. She wasn't just trafficking girls for herself.
I don't know if you just heard that, but he just took a giant shit.
No, I didn't hear. I just heard like, what's the word? Generic baby noises.
Well, in case you're at home, that's what it was. It was a poop.
You need to like change him?
No, it's fine.
Okay. But yeah, so a lot of people online are saying, did she name names? Because she might have not, had to go to jail if she did.
Are you saying that's why she got a light sentence, or you're saying she didn't name names and that's why she got prison time?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's just fishy, the entire thing. Like, where are the names?
Yeah. Like these women weren't being trafficked for her.
I think everybody is seeing how fishy this whole situation is. The only other person who's really been outed is Prince Andrew.
Right.
And even him, like,
and he's not going to jail. Like, what nothing's happening to him.
Has he had? Exactly.
None. He didn't get punished at all.
But it's like very obvious that he was having sex with underage girls.
Yeah. But he's in a position of power.
Them. Well, I guess it's like he's royal, so
yeah, what can they
guess
really
things don't apply to him.
Yeah. It's super sketchy. I don't know what's going to happen with her. Like, I know she already has a bit of credit, or I don't know if it's called credit, but for time served, because she's been detained since 2020, I think it was. Right. So she's got like 2 years. And then I think there are some conditions, like she could get out, but have to be either on house arrest or something like that. So I don't know if she'll actually spend, like how long she'll spend in jail, but yeah, pretty crazy. And crazy how that trial wasn't televised,
Yeah. Meanwhile, everyone's like focused on this like Johnny Depp Amber Heard
thing,
which I just sorry if this is a controversial opinion, but like I just did not find it that interesting.
I don't think anybody really found it interesting. It was more just like entertaining.
Yeah, but I was like, I didn't watch any of it.
I didn't really watch it, but I saw some compilations of like the highlights.
Yeah.
Did you see the one where she was doing cocaine?
No.
This is like such old news now, but there's this like 3-second clip I saw, and it was like her just going, she had like a tissue and she just goes like inhaling, which you wouldn't like if you had a tissue, you'd be exhaling. So everyone's like, she was doing cocaine.
The trial.
I don't know, I guess.
So ridiculous.
Yeah. She was not blowing her nose though. But anyways.
Well, so another interesting, not like it's interesting, but so I'm a bridesmaid for one of my friends' weddings. I have 2 friends getting married. One of them is getting married tomorrow, and I'm going.
Nice.
Another one is getting married in October, and she had a bridal shower. And okay, and I went, and one of her friends, shout out, her friend Elizabeth is like, "Hi, I've like never met you, but I listened to all your podcasts," and it was so cool. So what up, Elizabeth?
Cool.
She's good friends, or she's the bridesmaid of my friend V, who is the head knocker of the show. But so that was kind of cool.
That is cool.
Like really awkward in real life, so I'm really awkward. Sorry, but it was cool. And then we like chat about BTK for a while, and it was like a fun bridal shower.
Yeah, that makes it more up your alley for sure.
Yeah, I had a lot of good chats with V about BTK,
Nice.
because it was like such a fascinating case.
Yeah, that was a weird one.
Yeah, but I think I'd like to do like maybe a couple more multi-parters on like some of the extra fucked up people, because
and when there's a lot of information.
There's a lot of information, and it's just like fun to deep dive into something like that and like read a book. And
because even switching topic, but even the last one that you did that I wasn't there for, Catherine Shelton.
Oh yeah, did you listen to it?
Yeah, and it's like there's barely any information about her, so the things that she did were super interesting and outlandish, especially the fact that she was able to get away with everything, or allegedly. But it was like, you don't know,
like, where's your childhood? What happened?
And you don't know anything about her personality except for like the phone call where she was threatening the guy. So it's still super interesting, but I so much prefer like Paul and Carla. It's like, you know so much about their childhoods, and you know so much about their background and all the early signs. And even just about their personality, and like interviews with people who knew them, and it adds a lot of different dimensions to it. Whereas like it makes somebody seem so much less, like I would say, like less human in a way. Like it's so much more of just like a fictitious tale when you don't really know details.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah, it was good though. I liked it. I mean, it was interesting. I shouldn't say it was good, but it was an interesting case. Like, I can't believe she got away with, like, I don't, again, allegedly, like maybe she wasn't, but it's like, dude, like, like you keep shooting people.
And then and it's
the guy like hanging.
How do you get away with it?
Yeah.
Hanging naked in your house is like, oh, he was just like jerking off. Like,
he was just doing autoerotic asphyxiation.
It's like, why is there so much autoerotic asphyxiation also?
It seems like very common. Yeah.
It's like a really popular thing, I guess.
Yeah, it seems to happen a lot. It reminds me of, honestly, probably my favorite of our episodes is Robert Wone. Like, I obviously tragic and, rest in peace, but that was just ridiculous.
Well, okay, cool. Because the one I'm doing next is like kind of an interesting story like that, another unsolved.
Yeah, I like situation. It. I mean, I think it's interesting.
Yeah, I like.
I'm always like, don't say you like it. I don't like it, but I think it's interesting.
Okay, well, let's get into Luka Magnotta, because this one has a good. There's quite a bit on his childhood.
Cool.
So
this is a pretty well known, I would say, but maybe not. I don't know. It's Canadian. It's local. I actually know a bit about. Like, I know the extent of his crimes, but I don't know the childhood stuff. So that's really interesting. But this dude is quite the piece of work.
He's horrible.
Yeah, like he seems like he has actually no regard for humanity.
Yeah, and I'll get into a little bit like his background. It makes sense with his background, and interesting. I think I'll get into it at some point, but there's a really popular documentary series on Netflix called "Don't Fuck with Cats."
Yeah,
and it is about him, but it is more. It takes the perspective of these like online sleuths, like just regular people online who are trying to find out who he was, and we'll get into why that's happening. So the story, that documentary series is great. I really, really liked it. But it did not dive into his childhood enough. Yeah. And I think too with Luka Magnotta, and you'll see why people don't like to reference him too much.
What do you mean by reference him?
Like reference him on the internet, because
he likes it. He likes the attention.
Basically. Yeah, and you'll see why. So I think for this episode, we will name it Luka Magnotta, but like in the future, when we're like a super popular podcast and like
we don't
have
talk about it.
millions
You know
of
what
followers, I might like
I
change
heard?
the title.
I don't know if this is true, obviously. Shout out Reddit, but I heard that he like has access, I guess, to the internet where he's at right now. No spoilers. And he like reads everything about himself and listens to everything about himself. So hi,
Yeah, I think it's possible.
how you doing?
Yeah, even if you say like he was a
You're
piece
scary.
of shit, he's probably gonna be like, oh, me.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm like that too. All attention is good attention. I'd rather be hated than irrelevant.
Really?
Like if somebody doesn't like me, I'm like, oh, you care.
Really?
Is that
That's
toxic? I
interesting.
don't know. Yeah.
Well, it depends. Like, you're not doing the shit that he was doing. So
No, like this is more in the dog training world because I feel like there's a lot of like, for people who don't know, it's kind of like the diet world. It's like the vegans hate the carnivores, and that's kind of like the dog world too. And whenever somebody doesn't like me, I'm like, I'm relevant. You care.
Well, there is like something to be said, I think, with like controversy. Like, for example, like in the film world, to me, it's like if you're not getting people saying that they don't like your work or that or like
yeah, it means you're boring.
Yeah, it's like if people aren't being offended a little bit by like what you're putting out, then it's like, is it really interesting?
Yeah.
Because like everyone gets offended so easily these days. So it's like
true.
If everybody's just like, oh, it's great, like who cares?
Yeah, or if people don't care. Like I would rather people care in a negative way.
I don't want people to think I'm like a bad person, but
no.
If they do, like, sorry, I don't care.
I feel like as long as some people like me, like if everyone hated me, I don't think I'd be happy. No. But I'd rather everybody hate me than no one care.
That's interesting. Yeah. I guess that is like caring in a way.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, okay,
let's
get into
let us know in the comments, guys. Would you rather be hated or irrelevant?
Yeah, I'd probably
Luka Magnotta, reach out, but don't.
Ew, I would know. Oh, okay, listen up. Here's the story.
Okay, tell us.
There's like a parade of dogs barking outside.
I can't hear it.
No? Okay.
Nope.
Okay, so the now infamous Luka Magnotta was actually born Eric Clinton Kirk Newman on July 24th, 1982 in Scarborough, Ontario, which is east end of Toronto.
Right, so very next close door. To us.
And that's also where Paul and Carla were at.
Scarborough, they were drinking the same water.
Yeah, and Russell Williams.
Oh God.
So he was named after two famous actors, Clint Eastwood and Kirk Douglas. And I guess his parents were fans. His parents, Anna Yorkin and Donald Newman, were 16 and 17 years old when they had him. Luka was the first of three children, and the couple had gotten together in high school when Anna became pregnant. And they got together in high school, and when Anna became pregnant, they dropped out and got married.
Oh shit!
Take that back.
They both dropped out.
They both dropped out. I mean, Donald was 17, so I don't know.
Yeah,
if he made it through, but it said that they both dropped out.
Okay, that's super young.
Very young. Their families were both not happy about this, but they did end up moving into Donald's parents' basement, and they started their family anyway. Their home and financial situation was always rocky. At one point, they had been able to afford to buy a house for themselves, but they did end up falling behind on mortgage payments, and it forced them to sell. And from then on, they moved around a lot, sometimes moving in with family or friends, and like couch surfing and stuff.
Right.
And I don't know if I said this, but Luka was the first of three kids. So then it was followed by another brother and a sister. So Luka's mother apparently had some sort of cleanliness obsession. And we don't know if she had any formal diagnosis of any sort of mental health problems, but we do know that she was very, very concerned with germs.
Interesting.
And apparently this is the reason why she decided to homeschool all three of her children until Luka was in grade 6.
Wait, how old were the other kids?
They were younger than him. I don't even know how, but I think like I would guess somewhere around 2 years, like pretty close together.
And nothing's really known about them, I'm guessing?
No, they're not. They weren't. I could not find them mentioned anywhere.
They didn't do anything newsworthy?
No, not like this.
Yeah.
So Luka remembered being told that he was being homeschooled because the world was dirty, as a dirty and dangerous place.
Ooh.
And he was taught to be afraid of the world. So not a great start.
Yeah, not ideal.
It has been reported that this obsession of hers led her to behave abusively towards her children,
Oh God.
sometimes locking them outside of the house. It's also been reported, that once she left a pet rabbit outside to freeze to death.
Aw.
Don't know why, but that's not nice.
Yeah.
It also did not help that Luka had a problem with bedwetting. Shocker.
Did he now?
Mm-hmm. Which led to extra issues between him and his very cleanliness obsessed mother.
Oh yeah. Oh.
So later, Luka described his mother as a horrible person. And clearly their relationship was not great, at least throughout his childhood, because she appears in the Don't Fuck with Cats documentary. And,
okay.
And like to this day, she actually remains pretty close with him. So I think that when he described her as a horrible person was around when he was being when he was going through like the trial system, the trial for the crimes we'll get into.
Right.
But
they reconciled after that.
Well, I think she's like his only supporter, so it's like he doesn't really have a choice.
Got it.
Luka's father was an alcoholic and was formally diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia and manic depression when Luka was 11.
Wow.
It was said that the father was also physically abusive toward the children and may have also introduced some very weird, deviant sexual ideas to Luka,
Ooh.
including bestiality.
Ooh.
So,
like in what form? Like porn?
I think so.
Oh my God. That's so traumatizing.
Yeah. And really explains a lot.
Yeah.
We'll get into
this
that.
already explains a lot.
So the couple ultimately divorced when Luka was about 15 years old. And then his mother started dating a new man named Leo, who later Luka described as a, quote, monster, end quote.
Sounds about right.
Apparently, Luka was very close to his one sister, Melissa. He only had one sister, but I don't know much about her at all. Just know that they were close.
That's good.
Luka also claimed to be very close to his grandmother, Phyllis, growing up, and spent a lot of time with her. And at one point, he and his two siblings moved in with her in Lindsay, Ontario.
Okay.
Although she seemed like a harsh disciplinarian and allegedly also beat the children.
Yeah, but I think like there's a difference between being a harsh disciplinarian and which is still not ideal by today's child raising standards, but
weird.
Pause for baby. But like it sounds like she probably was like kind of cool until she was disciplining them versus just like all around terrible, or no?
She sounded pretty horrible. I think at some point she started like referring to him as a fag or like like just saying really like derogatory things to him because clearly he was gay,
right? Or is?
Yeah, but like you should not say that.
Don't say it. Yeah.
Would said that he was like dressing faggy or whatever. Like,
oh
I don't
no.
know. Maybe you'll have to beep this out or like I don't know if I should even say that, but like I don't know how to.
Well,
the F word, like
you know, like
that's what she was saying.
People are way more sensitive like to vocabulary now. When we were growing up, like we said all kinds of things that you can't say now, and it was pretty normalized.
Oh, for sure.
But she still used it.
She still used it in a very mean way.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
She sounded like a not nice woman.
Okay, got it.
But maybe better than the like OCD lady. I don't know.
She probably had her
better
act
than the
together
dad.
A little more. Yeah.
Unfortunately, her marriage also ended in divorce, and that was like another kind of shitty situation.
Lots of divorce, huh?
Yeah. So then Luka eventually like started going to school, and he had problems in school and was initially placed in special education classes.
Okay.
No doubt due to his like really shitty homeschool experience. I bet they did not like that woman was not prepared to like properly educate her children by any means.
I don't get that vibe.
Ex-classmates of his from high school mostly don't really remember Luka.
Interesting.
Didn't seem to stick out at all, apparently. Like, and some sources said that, but some said that teachers and students remember him for his vanity obsession with his looks, and like he like would like slick his hair back and all the shit.
That could be an offshoot of the cleanliness obsession.
Yeah, I mean, I think also his mother said that he was severely bullied for being gay, and like because they were kind of poor and like didn't have like new clothes or whatever.
His mom said he was bullied?
Like in the Don't Fuck with Cats documentary, she said she was like, he was bullied and all the shit. And so I think it's very hard to tell what exactly happened.
Yeah.
I think that there's a lot of people who have like come out and said things after the fact, and we're like, oh, like knowing him now, it's easy to say like, oh yeah, he was like really vain in high school and whatever.
Yeah, just, like hindsight.
You can't really trust a lot of these people who just come out later and say like, oh yeah, I remember him as this, when it's like colored by what happened after.
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe he was bullied, maybe he wasn't, who knows?
Right.
But if anything, he definitely had a hard time in school academically.
Okay.
Luka dropped out of school in grade 11 at age 17 due to mental health problems. He said that he had problems concentrating and that he was hearing things.
That's not good.
Yeah. And so after that, he worked a number of low-skilled jobs, but he didn't last long in any of them before being fired. In 2001, at age 21, he was diagnosed with schizophrenia.
Wow.
Yes. So it sounds like there was something to him, like hearing things.
Yeah.
By age 22,
and his dad had it, right?
Yeah. And it does seem to be somewhat genetic, I believe.
Yeah.
By age 22, Luka had also been diagnosed with depression and was prescribed medication for that. In 2002, Luka moved to Toronto and immersed himself in the gay scene. So this was like, on Church Street or whatever. In Toronto, there's a street called Church Street, and it's like got tons of like gay bars, and that is the gay community. Maybe it's the LGBTQ community these days. I actually used to live, and you remember, right at the bottom of it, right where kind of where like we call it the Village.
Yeah.
Kind of where that ends. I lived like just south of there.
I do remember.
Yes, you recall. So here, that's where he got a job as a stripper at a male strip club called Remington's Men of Steel. Do you recall Remington's?
I do. Why do I know that?
Remington's is on Yonge Street. It's just north of Dundas.
Okay.
It's like right across the street from where American Apparel used to be.
Yeah. Oh, good times.
And there's a girls strip club.
Like Zanzibar, is it?
Zanzibar that's there.
I think so.
Yeah, and Remington's just has like this big picture of like some like guys' abs. Yeah, I used to work right across the street from there. So he started working as a stripper at Remington's. Thank you.
It wasn't at the same time though, was it? You were probably working there.
No, yeah, this was 2002, and
not that long after you were there.
No, I worked there like 2010.
Yeah. But imagine if you worked there at the same time and like cross paths with him.
That would be horrific.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
But yeah, on top of stripping at Remington's, he also started doing porn and escorting. In 2004,
do you know if this was because he just needed to support himself, or if he was like genuinely interested in sex work?
So I think that he says he was genuinely interested in sex work. I think that he was really into himself and his looks,
like watching himself in porn and stuff.
And I think that he really wanted to like exude like sexualness.
Okay.
So I think that made sense, but I also think he had no real skills otherwise.
Right. Yeah.
And he kept getting fired from all his other jobs.
Yeah.
I don't want to like, it's easy to say that like sex work and stripping is easy. I don't think it's easy.
It's not that it's easy necessarily, but I think you can make a bit more money than like being a waiter or something.
Yeah. And like I don't really know, but
I don't think it's easy, but I think you can make like it in the sense that's like, you don't really have to like work your way up necessarily. Like if you you know what I mean? Like if you get an entry level job, it's like minimum wage. But if you are a stripper, you could make a lot of money just like in tips or whatever.
Yeah, it seems like you
I
can
don't
make
know.
a lot more money in a lot less time,
Yeah. I know
possibly.
people who have gone into sex work, and it's also really hard to get out of it because then you're like, do I want to work for $15 an hour when I can make like $300 in like 2 hours?
Yeah, and I think also like what's kind of nice about doing that kind of stuff is like you besides stripping, because like you do work for like a club or whatever, but like if you're doing in some ways porn, but definitely an escorting, like you get to make your own schedule, you get to be like, it's all flexible,
Yeah.
and you can just like make it what you want. You can kind of like be your own boss.
You can live outside of like a 9 to 5, like
Exactly.
socially controlled life, like society life.
Yeah, he just didn't seem to thrive in like a typical working environment.
Right. Which makes sense because he didn't like necessarily thrive in school, and his parents didn't necessarily introduce him to the world in a like
Positive way
socialized
at all.
way. Yeah.
Yeah. Um so he was doing all that. That was like the work that he was getting involved in. And I don't
Okay.
know like if he was like doing a good job or a bad job, but he was doing
Yeah,
it.
who's to say?
Okay.
Can't hear it that much.
In 2004, Luka went online and he befriended a 21-year-old girl with a mental disability.
Oh, wow.
Apparently she had about the mental capacity of an 8 to 12-year-old.
Okay.
And Luka convinced her to apply for multiple credit cards and then use them to rack up thousands of dollars in debt. And worse, the police claimed that he also sexually assaulted this girl and videotaped
What?
it. Yes.
So he met her in person. It wasn't just online.
Mm-hmm.
The credit card debt, not skipping over that because that's fucked up too. But so he like did that thing that you're never supposed to do, meet a predator online. He like him being the predator, but he actually managed to meet her.
And I have to assume that he like specifically sought out somebody who was like more vulnerable.
Yeah.
And he
I
knew
wonder,
he
yeah.
could.
I wonder where he like found her.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think like this is the time with all these like chat rooms and
Yes, I was on them.
I was
Luckily
not.
didn't
I've like
meet anybody.
literally never been to a chat room. I don't even know
I've definitely been on one.
how you do that.
Yeah. You just like stumble upon them, I think.
Yeah, but apparently this sexual assault was videotaped.
What the fuck?
But before the start of the trial for the fraud and sexual assault charges, the Crown ended up dropping the sexual assault charges.
Why?
And I could not find why they did it. I think that
like maybe the girl's family didn't press charges enough.
It's possible, but I think that also this judge was like pretty lenient, as you'll see. But this reduced his punishment dramatically, and worse, it kept him off the sexual offenders registry.
Yeah, that's not good, huh?
Which it would have been really good if he was on that registry.
Yeah, he should have been.
Yeah, so. He very much should have been.
And especially knowing what happens later, he really should have been.
Exactly. In 2005, he was convicted of the fraud charges, and he was given 9 months of community service and 12 months of probation.
Wow, which was easy sentence.
Slap on the wrist. The judge was aware of Luka's mental health problems, and after sentencing, she said, quote, "You have a medical problem. You need to always take medication. If you do not, your life is going to get messed up," end quote. And I bet this judge really regrets letting him off so easy.
Yeah.
And also, everything she said was absolutely true. So after this whole ordeal, Eric Newman wanted to make some major changes in his life. In 2006, at age 24, he legally changed his name to Luka Magnotta. He also got a nose job and got hair implants. Even with these physical changes, Luka still had a very isolated existence. He clearly had problems forming relationships with people.
That's sad.
Most people who knew him or got to know him quickly realized that he was not well.
Yeah, I bet.
He was very, very narcissistic in a very sad way. It seemed like he really needed attention. It was not like if he was not the absolute center of attention, preferably for his looks, then he had a really hard time dealing pretty much. It also seems like he had a really hard time being physically intimate with people, even though he tried really hard to like exude this sexual energy and like did porn and escorting. He like seemed to like not be able to form sexual relationships with people he actually wanted to be in a relationship with. You know what I mean?
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
It makes sense though. Like just in general, I'm like, he had nothing but dysfunctional relationships modeled to him throughout his life. So it's like, you know.
Yeah, I watched this video of this guy who I've talked about before, Dr. Grande, who like assesses these situations, and he said that he seemed to have had what they call like a vulnerable narcissism.
Interesting.
Which is different than like someone like BTK. Like he is super narcissistic, but he doesn't need anybody to like he doesn't need specific people's attention to like he can like create that narcissism for himself.
Right.
Whereas like Luka like really needed attention from other people.
Yeah, like a constant source of attention.
Yeah, and he would get like physically uncomfortable if he was not receiving attention from other people.
Interesting.
Which means that you have to devote your entire life to seeking attention from other people.
Yeah. Probably not in super healthy ways either.
As we'll see.
Yeah.
So he did develop this relationship with a transgender woman named Barbie Swallows.
Okay.
I think that's obviously not her given name.
Really?
I think I don't know what industry she was in, if she was like stripping or something, but if you watch interviews with her, and it seems like she was in that world. Luka met Barbie in the back alley of Remington Strip Club while he was there with his roommate at the time. And according to Barbie, that night, the three of them got together and had a threesome. And then Luka and Barbie began a relationship. She now says that their entire relationship revolved around Luka and his obsession with himself.
Oh, God.
And he was always asking her to take photos of him and just like made everything about him. Barbie claimed that she had some sort of internet blog, and that Luka would go and he would take her posts and repost them under his name. Okay. And she says that during their time together, they were never sexually intimate beyond that first time that they were together after Remington's.
Interesting.
Barbie seems to think that Luka feared that if he slept with her, that she would leave him. And something he indicated had happened to him before, that like every time he'd been like intimate with somebody, they left him.
Right.
So he like refused to have sex with her.
Okay.
Which I think she probably got tired of.
Yeah.
She said that he was scared to be alone. So like he really wanted to be with her so he wouldn't have sex with her because he thought that she would leave.
Right.
So that was his like line of thinking.
Sounds super healthy and functional.
Mm-hmm. She said that she found him to be such a weird enigma of a person. She knew him to be a stripper and an escort, yet couldn't seem to be physically intimate. And he told her that he wanted to become a cop.
Okay.
Which was super random.
And like, no.
Okay. Then she ended up breaking up with him after only a few months of dating.
It's funny because the first thing I said was, I hope you're not going to murder me or kill me, as a joke, because, you know, I'm very, you know, especially when you don't know someone. Like, I knew Nader through high school, so I've known him.
What did you say when you said that?
Well, they both giggled and laughed, and I was like, okay, there's no need to worry. So, you know, we went back to their apartment, and we had a threesome, and from there, we, you know, exchanged numbers, and we started dating.
Lukas spent most of his time doing porn, escorting, and posting about himself online and portraying himself as a model and auditioning for reality shows. There are lots of videos online of him auditioning for stuff. It's very cringy because he goes on about how important his looks are to him, all the surgeries he wants to get, and what he's had done, and how good looking people tell him he is. And it's like really cringy, I guess you could say. I'll put in some here.
All right, my name is Luka Magnotta and I'm 25.
And what do you do for a living?
I'm a model.
Okay. Do you want to talk about the other stuff that you do?
Yeah,
or
definitely.
Is that okay with you?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
great.
all totally fine.
Super.
Basically, I do a lot of adult modeling, and I do adult films as well, and I'm pretty comfortable in front of the camera, so I'm doing it for a while, and it's been working out pretty good for me, so definitely.
So what is the surgery you're thinking about having done, or the procedure?
Well, it's going to be at the back of my head. I've had two done already.
Can you tell me what it is you're having done?
It's a hair transplant. And basically, do you want me to just go on a bit about?
Yeah, tell me a little bit about the procedure, yeah.
Okay, so basically, the back of my head hair is going to be frozen. I'm awake through the entire procedure. And there's like no, what do you call that?
Anesthetic?
And there's no, like, you don't get put under to sleep.
Right.
So basically, they cut open the back of my head, and they take a strip of flesh off, and they cut it off, and they take it to the side, and nurses work on it for a few hours by taking each individual hair out of the graft. And then they sew the back of my head up, and that takes about an hour.
So they pull the skin down? Or
Yeah, they pull it down and tighten it and sew it back up. Then while the nurses are working on taking the hairs out, the doctor puts me back, and he tries to decide where exactly all of them are going to be needing to be placed, so it looks very natural.
Okay.
I just, every time I look in the mirror, it seems to be getting worse, so I want to like completely eliminate it and stop it, before, obviously, because I can't have my hair looking like I'm 50 years old when I'm 25, right? So I want it to look pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was rejected from everything. He didn't get into any of the reality shows.
I'm sure that's not great for his self-esteem either, huh?
No. And they were all like there's one documentary that he was like auditioning for, or like trying, I don't know if you call it auditioning for a documentary, but it was about, or a documentary series about plastic surgery.
Well, he should have been on that one.
Yeah, well, that's the one that he definitely seemed like
qualified.
He would qualify for that one, but there was another one that was like a cover guy shoot, and it was like
cover guy,
something stupid like that. He did get interviewed one time on Naked News, which I don't know if you know Naked News.
No,
they film in Toronto. It's like, and it's just like naked girls telling the news.
Okay,
it's like pretty.
I feel like there's a market for that.
Yeah, I think it's like you have to pay for it now. But there's like sometimes you'll see them out. Like I saw, I was like,
really? I didn't know it was like legal to be naked in public. I feel like that's like illegal.
I think they can be topless in public.
Okay.
Like, there was one, I saw this one clip on YouTube where this girl is like topless interviewing people in Trinity Bellwoods.
I mean, if men can be topless, women could be topless. So
yeah, she's just like, would you ever date a porn star? Guys are like, I would sleep with one.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So when he did this interview, I'll put it in a clip of it. But he wore a lot of lip gloss for the piece, and he also called himself Jimmy.
Well, I was a stripper first, and one of the guys who I was stripping with said to me, he said, Jimmy, since you don't like being a stripper anymore, being up on stage, it's hard, hiding that profession. Just people who I would know would walk into the club and, see me naked.
Yeah.
Even though I told them I did something else.
Hard to hide when you're naked on a stage.
So he said, why don't you get into something more discreet and, you can keep your anonymity.
Right.
Be an escort, and I never knew what it was at the time.
Right. So what's it been like for you becoming an escort? Do you enjoy your work?
Yeah, I really do enjoy my work. I get to meet new people and all the time, and I'm a people person, and it just worked out great for me.
Mm-hmm.
I guess just to hide his name, which is weird because he really likes his name getting out there. So I don't know why he went by Jimmy for this.
Yeah, that is weird.
But I'll put a clip of it here.
Yeah, I want to watch that clip.
I'll show you after.
Okay.
In 2007, he filed for bankruptcy, claiming that he had some sort of illness that kept him from working or paying off any of his debts.
I mean,
which he did seem to be diagnosed with stuff, but
yeah, totally. Fair. I'm sure he needed a lot of help. Like,
it seems like in his personal life, he started spending a lot more time online, and he developed a fascination with serial killers.
Oh, fuck.
Which is not always a bad indication.
That's true. It could be fine.
Sometimes it's a really normal fascination.
Totally.
But in this case, it was a little bit of a red flag.
Do you know which serial killers or just in general?
Well, we'll see. There's like he took a deep dive into Paul and Carla for sure.
Did he? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So some of the worst ones, basically.
Yeah. I think he just got into like the idea of serial killing.
Great.
So one day, this crazy story popped up online about Luka. He couldn't believe it. According to the online rumor, Luka Magnotta was in a relationship with none other than infamous child rapist and murderer, Karla Homolka.
What?
There was even a slideshow video dedicated to their relationship online.
Of photos of them together?
Well, interestingly, in the slideshow, there was only one photo of the happy couple. But upon further investigation or inspection, you could see that the blonde woman in the photo was not Karla Homolka.
Okay.
It was actually Luka Magnotta's own mother, Anna. Because
they look alike?
Because it was Luka who started the rumor, and it was Luka who made the slideshow.
What the fuck? He would. I'm not surprised.
So here you see the escalation of him online, like trying to get attention. And this is where it's like, okay, now it's like, I don't care if it's good attention or bad attention.
And it's also like you're wanting to associate yourself with somebody who's so hated, number one, and also like just evil, dare I say.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Carla, if you're listening. I just assume that like every person who's a murderer just listens to everything that people say about them.
Luka contacted Sun News, and they actually interviewed him about it. And he told them that it was just a rumor and that it was ruining his life being associated with Karla.
My modeling career is kind of going downhill, basically, these days, to be honest with you.
And it's all because of this whole rumor of you dating Karla Homolka. This is the thing that's...
The rumors destroyed my life, basically, and I've been receiving death threats. My address is posted, that's why I had to move. I want my Pomeranian back. It was taken out of my SUV. I'm about to have a nervous breakdown here. My reputation is completely ruined. I just want everybody to I want to set the record straight that me and her have absolutely no connection. I go in to see casting directors, I go in to see agents, you know, they know who I am, you know, it's all over everywhere. I started being a stripper, and then basically I went from there to doing adult films. And I'm not ashamed of doing the adult films. I have a problem though with people saying those to relatives, and now nobody wants to talk to me. I don't have anybody, basically. Whoever's doing this, you know, please stop.
What the fuck? He has something in common with Karla, I will say. Do you know what it is?
His dead eyes?
Yes, he really has them.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of scary. Like everything else about him is kind of like, okay, like, you know. But the eyes are very, like, there's like no emotion in the eyes.
And you can tell that he like completely puts on his entire,
yeah, of course,
like,
it's all persona. A lie, but
his voice is like this, and like,
yeah,
it's like, you're doing that. That's not your fucking voice.
The eyes are weird. Like it's very, like everything else is put on, but that's just off.
He had like his under eyes done.
Does that mean like filler?
I think so. Okay, so end of clip. Again,
that's insane.
Nobody cared.
Yeah.
But there he was. Clearly we see him just wanting to become famous for something or
Yeah,
infamous.
just wanting attention.
It seemed like he was just desperate for people to notice him, and it led him, now we'll see, into some pretty dark places on the internet.
Oh.
And once he felt he couldn't get recognition from anything positive, he tried some other things.
Oh no.
So in 2010, Luka Magnotta posted a video on Facebook titled 3 Guys, 1 Hammer. Now this was not his video. It was another video. But I had to get into this a little bit because
I think I've heard of this.
It's really fucked up.
Was it like people killing a guy? Like, was there somehow a motorcycle involved in like Russia or Ukraine or something?
It's
or like a homeless guy.
Yeah. So
yeah,
supposedly this is a popular video and in some really horrible online communities.
I haven't seen it, but isn't it from like those gore websites?
I'd have to assume it was
gore
websites. So it apparently depicts 3 male teenagers beating another man to death with a hammer.
Yeah, I've heard of this.
According to what I could find, while very carefully trying not to see the actual video, it was like somebody in the hallway, I think.
Okay. Yeah, you don't want to see like that's. I
have no interest in seeing this video.
No.
But apparently this actually happened. It was in the Ukraine, and it was a real video that depicted a very real murder.
Yeah.
And the 3 men killed the victim. It was 45-year-old Sergei Yatsenko, and they mutilate his body using a hammer and a screwdriver.
That's disgusting.
The 3 men were Viktor Sayenko, Igor Supruyuk, and Alexander Hansa. And all were found guilty of this and 20 other murders, some of which were also filmed. So they were going around, and I think it was mostly homeless people.
Yeah,
and
right.
They were just murdering them in brutal ways and videotaping it, some of them. And they are all currently serving life sentences in the Ukraine.
Good.
And apparently, just for clarity, Alexander, the last one, was not involved in all of the murders. It was mostly the other 2 guys, but still, he seems like a piece of garbage.
Yeah. One murder is enough.
And it's so brutal.
Yeah. It's very mob mentality too, where I'm sure it's like if it was just one of them, like I feel like they all, in those situations, like they all egg each other on. Yeah. There's a few cases where there's like teenage murders and it's always with accomplices.
Yeah. And it's like that's this video, or excuse me, these guys, like that's like a whole other video in and of itself. But posting that, like he posted that on Facebook, and it's like,
dude, nobody wants to see that. Yeah.
Right.
Can you even, I guess you can post anything on Facebook until like people see it and remove it.
Yeah. I mean, I think Facebook was a lot less regulated back in the day, maybe, but like you would not.
But I think even now you could post anything and then it would be up to other people to report it.
Probably. I don't know.
Imagine just seeing that on your Facebook. Like, no.
Horrifying.
Yeah.
I would look at a lot of.
I mean, we've looked at crime scene photos.
But this is like a snuff film, and it's like, and can you not, baby?
Aww.
So shortly after this, Luka Magnotta started making his own videos.
Oh God,
they were fucked up.
Yeah, this can't be good.
And this is where the popular documentary series that I mentioned before, Don't Fuck with Cats, comes in. That series, so it's called Don't Fuck with Cats, The Hunting of an Internet Killer. And it's a 3-part documentary series. And it's written and directed by Mark Lewis, who also did the Tinder Swindler documentary series, for those who saw it and are interested. And it follows a group of people who started seeing Luka's anonymously posted videos, and which I'm about to talk about, and they make it their mission to find out who the person was making these videos. I definitely recommend watching the series. It's super well done. So Luka Magnotta anonymously posted a video online called One Boy, Two Kittens. And I'm not going to put any of these videos on here because I just...
Have you seen the videos?
I've seen what they put in Don't Fuck with Cats.
And it's not the whole video, I guess.
Yeah, they play portions of it. None of the gory, none of like the actual terrible parts. Although some of them depict like...
It's all probably terrible.
Some of them depict like they showed like the ends where the cats are dead.
Aww.
And it's called Don't Fuck with Cats because I guess it was like just like a popular thing to be like do it, post whatever you want, but like we don't fuck with cats. And he very much fucked with cats in these videos.
Yeah. And it's like
people were not
obviously a
having
lot
it.
of animal activists.
Yeah. And just people don't like seeing people murder innocent kittens. Like,
yeah, nobody likes that.
That is
except
so
for him.
It is so against, like, people could watch other people being murdered all day, but like as soon as you start killing kittens, it's like the most innocent thing in the world. A puppy or a kitten, you're gonna just murder. Like, that's so sick. And it's so like, it just gets you right in the gut, no matter who you are. And if it doesn't, then there's something wrong with you.
It's awful. And so where was he posting these videos, Madison? Because it was anonymous, so he wasn't posting it on Facebook.
No, I think it was YouTube. But I think that I think then he would go into like chat rooms, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know where exactly.
Yeah. I mean, these things are all over the internet, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So
it's a fucked up place.
This video, One Boy, Two Kittens, is sick.
Also, can we just talk about the name reference to
One
Three
Boy,
Girls,
Two
One
Kittens?
Cup? Is that does it not seem like a Three Girls, One Cup reference?
Well, yeah, all of these videos, like Three Boys, One Hammer or whatever, like,
oh, that's true. Ooh, no,
it's
we don't like
all
that.
I don't know what came first, Three Girls, One Cup, or like whatever, but
it was probably
clearly
Three Girls, One
it's
Cup.
all
That's like the
that.
most iconic video on the internet.
So disgusting. I've seen it so many times.
Sadly, I've never seen it.
Oh, it's foul. It is.
Yeah, I don't need to see it. I'm fine.
Yeah, you don't. Anyway,
I'm okay.
This video shows two super cute little kittens on a bed.
Oh.
And then you can see a guy's hands petting them lovingly.
Disgusting.
And then he puts them into a plastic bag. And then he takes a vacuum and starts sucking the air out of the bag as the two kittens slowly die. Okay, so almost immediately, people on the internet became furious.
Yeah, fair.
Absolutely enraged. One man started a Facebook group about the video, garnering 4,000 members, and they wanted blood. More so, they wanted to find out who this person was and stop them. They began spending time going through the video frame by frame, trying to get clues that would tell them anything about the person who posted it, or even where in the world they were.
Right. I'm surprised he didn't want like identifying features in there if he just wanted attention.
I think he was building up to something.
Right.
But that's a good point. I think he wanted to like rile people up and like fuck with them. And he did.
Yeah.
So yeah, you'll see where this goes, because it gets like bigger and worse.
Oh God. Okay.
Anyways, it wasn't easy to find any clues, and there were things done in the video specifically to throw them off. For example, there was a Russian show playing in the background, which originally made them think that the video was from Russia, but it was just like a random Russian show.
Okay.
Now, not long after they started their searches, they found a photo of Luka Magnotta with the kittens. And this was a pretty big breakthrough, they thought, but they couldn't really get any information from the photo. It was just a nameless guy with the kittens, and they had no idea who he was. And then shortly after that, they received a message from a seemingly anonymous Facebook user that said, quote, "The name of the kitten vacuum killer you're looking for is Luka Magnotta. He was born in Russia, lives in Los Angeles, and has lived in several different countries. The apartment in the video is located in West Hollywood. Hope this helps. I'm 100% serious." End quote.
Who sent that?
Gee, I don't know.
Huh.
And also, none of that is true.
Yeah.
So the group began looking into Luka Magnotta, and what they found was shocking and very ridiculous. There was so much stuff online about this man. There were so many dedicated fan pages, gossip pages, Facebook and MySpace pages just dedicated to this Luka Magnotta. Tons of people
must have loved that.
Tons of people were commenting on these fan sites and pages, talking about his alleged ties to the mob, ties to serial killers and white supremacists, and also lots of people commenting on his modeling and porn movies.
Okay.
There were photos of him all over the world, showing him living in many different cities, claiming to own homes all over the place, sitting in a bunch of fancy cars. But soon it became very evident, very quickly, that almost all of these photos were photoshopped. And all of these websites and fans and detractors were just himself.
No.
Yes. Luka,
Oh my God.
Luka had been sitting in his home for hours and hours, day after day, making all this shit up about himself online, making hundreds of profiles of fake people to be his own fans, creating blog after blog, page after page to make himself seem like some sort of celebrity.
That's so much work.
Nobody in this freaky, fucked up, fake online world of his was an actual person. Very sad.
That's a lot of work.
Yes. This is what he spent all of his time doing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because he
Crazy.
tried so hard to make this happen for himself in reality, but it just didn't work. And so he had to make his own reality, is what I gather. Now, the people in the group who were trying to find him started combing through all these photos, trying to see if they could find some sort of location, because every photo has like a timestamp or location or whatever, like you can find out where these were taken. But since most of them were photoshopped, it was almost impossible until they finally stumbled upon this photo. I'll put it in. And it's a picture of Luka in the Toronto Eaton Centre.
Oh, well, there you go.
At Eaton Centre. Been there many times.
Yeah, show.
But looking through the photo file information, they found that this photo was taken at the Toronto Eaton Centre, a popular downtown Toronto mall, in October of 2010.
We were definitely there then.
Absolutely. This was when we were in high school.
Imagine if we walked past him.
The kitten video was posted in November of 2010. So this was a month before the kitten video.
Okay.
The online sleuths took this information to the Ontario SPCA and gave them the name Luka Magnotta and all of the information that they had. They went to the Toronto police, who seemed concerned, but since the name Luka Magnotta was not on any fixed address, they could not locate him at this time. He was literally untraceable. This was beyond frustrating for these sleuths because they're like, we have the name, we have all the information, this is what he did, get him. And they're literally like, we this person basically doesn't exist.
Crazy.
Then in November of 2011, another video surfaced. It was Luka, and this video was equally disturbing. It was
a year later?
Yeah. It was clearly him again, and this time he had another kitten, and he was petting it and loving it until he brought out a very large python and fed the kitten to the python.
I wonder what kind of python.
It was like a
retic, probably.
Wow,
I love snakes, but I hate that. It's like, like that's what people do though. Like that's okay. I don't know why it's not as bad to me. Like it is really bad, but I know a lot of people who do live feedings with their large pythons, and they'll just get like a huge bunny or like something and feed it to them alive. So it is still really fucked up, but it's like people just do, like there's videos on the internet of essentially that.
Yeah, it's okay, buddy.
Also, did he have a pet python? Because same.
No, he did not have a pet python.
Where did he get the python then?
He knew a guy.
Everyone knows somebody that has a python.
Yeah, and this was like a really big one. Like it's definitely not a ball python. It was like
no
something that could eat a cat.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree with that assessment. That these snakes eat live prey. So, but most people do not know about snakes or don't know much about snakes. And don't see them that way. Yeah. So it is still disturbing, and it's like
it is still disturbing. But in the reptile community, it's pretty typical.
It's like not it would just be a rabbit,
but rabbit or like other like medium-sized prey animals. So
yeah.
Still fucked.
And then there was another video, and this one is horrible. So this one, there's a kitten duct taped to a broom handle, and then he drowns it in the bathtub.
Oh, where's he getting all these kittens?
I think he's getting them off Craigslist. And
it's like way too. Yeah, it's way too easy to acquire kittens.
Yeah, he was clearly getting a lot of these kittens and animals off Craigslist.
So sad.
Yeah. it was becoming clear that he knew that these people were looking for him online, and he was taunting them and creating more
Yeah, he was
videos,
loving it.
which was like, fueling them to like want to do more, but also making them feel bad because they're like it's because we're giving him attention that he's making these videos. So it was like really hard for them too, because like they were really disturbed by all
Yeah.
this stuff.
It's so disturbing.
And he would write to these people and about these people looking
Of
for him,
course.
and like mention their screen names and stuff, and like taunt them. And even one of them, there was this girl who's in the Don't Fuck with Cats video, and at one point somebody sends her a video of like her workplace, somebody like going through and videotaping in her workplace. I think she worked at a casino and she lived in Las Vegas, and that's terrifying because like
That's
this person online who like they haven't definitely figured out that it was Luka Magnotta, but like hello, it was fucking Luka Magnotta. Like found out where she worked and then went and videotaped her workplace. Like that's so creepy.
Like he went to Las Vegas just to do this?
Him or somebody he got to do it, but yeah.
Wow, so creepy. I mean, he's such a creep. I think
horrific.
that's yeah.
So
I think we can all
meanwhile,
agree on that.
Meanwhile, Luka Magnotta had left Toronto and he planted a story online saying that he was fleeing to Russia, but really he went to London, England.
Oh,
and
okay.
There had been a story written about him in the UK Sun paper about the Python video, asking for help tracking him down. And so Luka waltzed into the Sun offices to boldly deny the allegations, much like he did in the Toronto Sun when he was denying the allegations that he was dating Carla Homolka, allegations he created himself.
Yeah.
And he claimed that people were framing him and making stuff up about him. And after making a big stink at the UK Sun, he then sent an email to the paper that said this: "It's fun watching people work so hard gathering all the evidence, then not being able to name or catch me. You see, I always win. I always hold the trump card, and I will continue to make more movies. Next time you hear from me, it will be in a movie I'm producing that will have some humans in it, not just pussies." End quote.
Oh, God.
The London police said it was out of their jurisdiction, so they didn't do anything about it. And then Luka left the UK. The online community hunting him down was not giving up. They were gathering evidence and made some videos showing everything that they had. The Toronto police believed the evidence, but they still could not find him. Luka had no credit cards, no home, and no paper trail. And soon they got a tip that Magnotta was in Montreal. They started going through all the photos of him, trying to find photos of him in Montreal. And they found photos of him in Montreal. And they compared the photos of him to Google Maps Street Views to find his location. And
wow.
They went through different streets and tried to match up the background of the photos. Like
That's pretty cool.
They were hardcore, these people. And they did a really commendable job, actually.
Yeah, seriously.
And if you want to see more about that, I would highly recommend watching the documentary series. I purposely tried to like make this a lot different so that it would still be interesting to watch, to listen to this podcast and also watch the series. So do check it out. And they were quite certain that they were able to find that like this, he was in Montreal, and they found like the background of the photo on Google Maps. So Luka had moved to Montreal. He moved into 5720 Décarie Boulevard, apartment 208.
That's like a main street. That's a really well-known street in Montreal.
Yeah, it had been 18 months since this first kitten video. The online crew got in contact with the Toronto police, who passed the information on to the Quebec SPCA, who told the Montreal police. And they said that there was nothing they could do.
Yeah, what can they do?
Luka was making his own videos about himself, slideshow pictures of himself, telling people to look for him and not to approach him because he was a dangerous psychopath. So yeah, that's part one. And that's where we'll end it from there. So now he's in Montreal, and at this point, he's like straight up taunting people and like daring them to find him and fucking loving every second, which is like, very BTK like, right?
Yeah.
See,
I mean,
You see
He-
such similarities in all of these guys, and it's like it all comes down to their narcissistic impulses. We will see in the next episode. Like so far, he's not committed any human murders,
Right.
but he does.
Not for
and
long. Yeah.
We will see, and it's horrific. Here, you do this for now, and then I'll feed you. So let's end it here
Wow.
because I got to feed this baby. Please check us out on Instagram at Who's Knocking Pod, Twitter at Who's Knocking Pod. No, our Instagram is at Who's Knocking Podcast, Twitter at Who's Knocking Pod. Hello at
whosknocking.com.
hello at Who's Knocking Podcast.com.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Wow. It's late.
Let us know
Okay.
what you think. Yeah, sorry. I will not have this will not have this baby here next week. Just doing our best. And yeah, please stay safe out there because you never know.
Who's knocking?
Goodbye. This podcast is produced in collaboration with Lost Line Media. Artwork by August Digital. Music by Matthew Cook.